I stood there staring at the tall metal fence that now completely circled my ranch. A private HOA property, no trespassing, sign hung right in the middle of the locked gate. I blinked. My own ranch, fenced locked like I was the trespasser. I rattled the gate hard. It didn't budge. I had left for just 2 days to visit my mother in Houston. 2 days. And now someone, or more specifically the HOA Karen that had been bothering me for months, had decided to fence me out of my own property. Not only that, the only entrance gate had a thick padlock on it. No combination, no spare key, no explanation, just a smug little sign like it on the place. But here's the part that'll make you spit out your sweet tea. Instead of fighting, yelling, or calling lawyers like they probably expected, I went out and bought the small patch of land, the exact one the gate was built on, the land that held the only gate key. That's right, I bought it. And what happened after that? Oh, you're not ready for it. My name's Caleb Ward. I'm 43, a retired firefighter, and I live on a 40-acre ranch outside Austin, Texas. After years of running into burning buildings, I saved enough to buy this slice of peace. Land for my horses, a peach orchard, and mornings so quiet you can hear the birds think. For a year, it was perfect. No neighbors, just me and the horizon. Then the Pinebrook Meadows HOA showed up. Not on my land, but next door, where a developer plopped a shiny new housing estate. I didn't care at first. My ranch was free, clear mine, but they had plans I didn't see coming. It started with letters, fussy ones, whining about my barn's unapproved green paint or my tractor clashing with their view. I tossed in the trash. My land wasn't in their HOA, never would be. Then came Harold Vance, their suit-wearing spokesman, strutting up with a clipboard. "Caleb," he said, grinning like a used car salesman, "we're building a cohesive community. Your ranch, it's a bit loud for our aesthetic." Loud? I raised an eyebrow, leaning on my fence. "You mean the roosters? Or the fact I exist?" He didn't laugh. "It's visible. Lowers property values." I offered him a shovel and a smile. Said he could move my barn himself. He left, but the HOA didn't stop. Surveyor flags popped up along my fence line, then strangers with cameras muttering about boundary disputes. I had my deed double-checked, clean as a whistle, but I smelled trouble. When I drove to Houston to check on Mom post-surgery, I thought 2 days wouldn't matter. I came back to that fence, silver, heavy, a cage around my land. The gate sat on a 5x5 plot jutting from their development, bought by Pinebrook Meadows weeks ago, their smug loophole. They didn't touch my ranch. They just locked me in, controlling access with one key. I didn't yell. I called my buddy Wes, a real estate shark who owed me for hauling his truck out of a ditch years back. "Find me that plot, the one under the gate," I said. He chuckled, thinking I was nuts, but 3 days later he called. "Got it. Seller's an old-timer. Owns a strip behind it too. Road access. Wants cash." I wired the money that night. The gate's land was mine, key included. But here's where it got messy. At the county clerk's, I met Tara, a Pinebrook resident who wasn't like the others. She was mid-30s, nervous, slipping me a tip. "Harold's not just after your land," she whispered, glancing around. "He's pushing us too. Fines, rules, forcing sales. My neighbor's gone already." Her hand shook. "They're scared, Caleb. But I'm not." I frowned. "Why help me?" "Because you're fighting," she said, eyes fierce. "And I've got proof. Harold's emails, plans to flip your ranch for condos. They're voting to rezone it tomorrow." I gripped my hat, the lock's weight heavier now. This wasn't just my fight. Pinebrook's own were cracking. Harold thought he'd caged me, but Tara's words lit a spark. I had the key, the land, and now a mole. The HOA was about to learn. You don't fence a Texan without a reckoning. The morning sun barely cut through the dust kicked up by my boots as I paced the new gate on my ranch. That silver fence gleamed like a jail cell, the HOA's no trespassing sign taunting me from the locked gate I now owned. I jingled the key in my pocket, a small victory, but Tara's words from the county clerk's office gnawed at me. Harold Vance and Pinebrook Meadows weren't just after my land. They were rezoning it, planning condos to swallow my 40 acres whole. I leaned on the fence, my hat tilted low, and scanned the horizon. Something big was brewing, and I wasn't waiting to get caged again. Tara's tip had lit a fire. I called Wes, my real estate buddy, who was already digging into Pinebrook's moves. "Caleb," he said over the phone, his voice low. "Tara's right. Harold's pushing a vote tonight. Emergency HOA meeting to reclassify your ranch as developable. They're bribing board members with kickbacks." Bribing? I gripped the phone, my other hand tightening on the gate. "They're that desperate?" "Worse," Wes said. "They've got a developer lined up, big money. Your land's a prize." I hung up, my jaw tight, and headed to town. Tara had slipped me her number, saying to meet at the diner if things got hot. I found her in a corner booth, her dark hair tucked under a ball cap, her fingers tapping nervously on a coffee mug. "Caleb," she whispered, sliding a USB drive across the table. "This is Harold's email chain. Stole it from his office. They're faking surveys to claim your ranch is blighted." I pocketed the drive, studying her. "Why risk this, Tara? You live in their world." She leaned forward, her eyes fierce. "Because it's not just you. Harold's fining us into the ground. My sister's house got a lien for her kid's swing set. We're trapped, same as you. If you fall, we're next." I nodded, the weight settling in. This wasn't just my fight anymore. It was hers, her sister's, half of Pinebrook's. "What's the vote mean for me?" I asked. "They rezone you. They can force a sale, eminent domain crap. You get pennies." She glanced out the window, tense. "Harold's got the board scared or paid off." I drove back, the USB burning a hole in my pocket. At the ranch, I popped it into my laptop. Emails laid it bare. Harold promising consulting fees to board members, fake reports calling my barn a health hazard. One line chilled me. "Ward's gone 2 days. Move fast." They planned the fence while I was with Mom. I didn't sleep. By dusk, I was at Pinebrook's clubhouse, a glass box glowing with HOA smugness. The meeting was residents only, but Tara snuck me in through a side door. Inside, Harold stood at a podium, his tie too tight, waving a map of my ranch-marked future condos. "This eyesore drags us down," he droned, his voice oily. "Rezoning's our duty." A woman stood, mid-50s, graying hair, hands shaking. "Mr. Vance, I live by Caleb's place. His horses don't hurt nobody. Why push this?" Harold's smile didn't waver. "Mrs. Keller, it's about value. Your home's worth more with condos." The room murmured, split. Some nodded, others shifted, uneasy. I stepped out of the shadows, my boots loud on the tile. "Funny thing, Harold," I said, holding up the USB. "Your emails don't mention value, just bribes and lies." The room froze. Harold's face went red. "You're trespassing, Ward." "Security." Tara stood, her voice cutting through. "He's not alone. I gave him those emails. You're robbing us blind. Fines, threats, now this." Mrs. Keller clapped, others joined, and Harold's podium shook as he slammed his fist. "You've got no proof," he snapped, but his eyes darted to the USB. I tossed it to Mrs. Keller. "Read it yourself, ma'am. Then vote." Security grabbed me, but the room erupted. Residents shouting, some at Harold, some at me. As they dragged me out, Tara yelled, "Check his laptop." I hit the gravel outside, grinning despite the bruises. Harold's empire was cracking, but I didn't see the truck tailing me home. Unmarked, headlights off. They weren't done, and neither was I. The gravel crunched under my boots as Pinebrook Meadow security shoved me out of their glassy clubhouse, the HOA meeting still echoing with shouts behind me. My ribs ached from their grip, but I couldn't stop grinning. Harold Vance's red face when I flashed that USB was worth every bruise. Tara's voice rang out as I hit the lot, yelling for residents to check Harold's laptop, and Mrs. Keller's claps had lit a spark. But the unmarked truck tailing me from the shadows, headlights off, engine low, wiped the smile clean off. I climbed into my Dodge, the gate key heavy in my pocket, and gunned it back to the ranch. Harmony Grove's fancy lawns blurred past, but my eyes stayed glued to the rear view. The truck was gone. For now. Back home, I locked the gate and checked my cameras. Nothing but crickets and moonlight on that damn silver fence. Tara called as I poured a coffee, her voice shaky. "Caleb, you stirred a hornet's nest. Harold's spinning it. Says you're a liar, scaring folks into thinking their homes are next." "Scaring?" I snorted, pacing the porch. He's the one rezoning my ranch for condos. Tara's right. Wes cut in. He'd conferenced in, his keyboard clacking. I hacked their server. Sloppy security. Harold's got a smear campaign ready. Claims you're dodging taxes, running an unsafe farm. They're voting again tomorrow to fast-track the rezoning. I gripped the railing, the fence glinting across my land. They're moving fast 'cause they're scared. What's Tara's proof do? Enough, she said. Mrs. Keller's passing it around. Emails, fake surveys. Half the board's wobbling, but Harold's got loyalists. And I saw a guy after the meeting, not HOA, suit, no badge, watching you. Might get twisted. The truck. Wes, dig into that developer. I need names. Morning brought no peace. I was saddling my mare, Daisy, when Tara pulled up, her hatchback rattling. She jumped out, clutching a laptop, her face pale. Caleb, they're not stopping. Harold's goon squad's at my place. Slashed my tires last night. I'm done hiding. I steadied her, glancing at the fence. You're sure about this? They're playing dirty. She nodded, opening the laptop. Look, stole this from their office. Harold's pitching your land to a firm, Lone Star Realty. They're not just condos. They're planning them all. Your ranch is the anchor. I scrolled through maps, $, my bar next out. A mall? Over my dead body. A pickup rolled by slow, too slow. Not Harold's usual golf cart clowns. The driver, a wiry guy with a Pinebrook sticker, leaned out. Ward, you're making enemies. Back off. We're not just tires. He sped off before I could answer. That's Mitch, Tara said, voice low. Lives 2 streets over. Harold's got him scared. Says fighting you saves his mortgage. I rubbed my jaw, the puzzle shifting. So, they're not all in on it, just bullied. She nodded. Mitch's wife begged me to stop digging. Said Harold's finding them into bankruptcy. They think you're the bad guy, stirring trouble. I grabbed my phone, dialing Wes. Find me Mitch's file. Anything tying him to Harold? Then I turned to Tara. We're crashing that vote. You in? Her eyes hardened. All the way. Dusk fell heavy as we parked near the clubhouse again. Tara had rallied Mrs. Keller, who brought a dozen residents, some angry, some nervous. Inside, Harold was at it, his tie looser, voice shrill. Ward's a threat, he barked, pointing at a photo of my hazardous fence. We rezone, or property values tank. I strode in, Tara at my side, holding the laptop high. Funny thing about threats, Harold, I said, voice carrying. Your mall deal's on here. Fines, lies, strong-arming your own. Mitch, you want to tell him what Harold's holding over you. Mitch, slouched in the back, froze, his face ashen. The room turned. Harold lunged for the laptop, but Tara yanked it back. It's backed up, she snapped. Residents gasped. Mitch stood, trembling, and bolted for the door. Harold's shout followed. You're done, Ward. But outside, Mitch waited head low. I didn't sign up for this, he muttered. Harold's got my loan papers. Says he'll foreclose if I don't play ball. I handed him my card. Talk to Wes. We're flipping this. Headlights flashed. Another truck, circling slow. Harold's allies were closing in, and my ranch was still locked tight. The Pinebrook Meadows clubhouse lights glowed like a smug beacon as I walked away from the chaos of the HOA meeting, my boots crunching gravel, Tara's laptop under my arm. Mitch's confession, he was trapped by Harold Vance's foreclosure threats, had cracked the room wide open, but his bolting out left a knot in my gut. Harold's allies were circling, their truck's headlights fading into the dark Texas night. My ranch, still caged by that silver fence, felt further away than ever, even with the gate key in my pocket. Tara caught up, her breath short, eyes darting. Caleb, Mitch isn't alone. Half the residents are scared stiff. Harold got leverage on everyone. I nodded, the weight of her words sinking in. Then we cut the strings, starting with him. Back at the ranch, I locked the gate and fired up the laptop. Tara's stolen files painted a grim picture. Harold's mall wasn't just a land grab. It was a $50 million deal with Lone Star Realty, my 40 acres slated as the parking lot. Emails showed payoffs to county clerks, doctored surveys calling my orchard barren. Worse, Harold had dirt on residents, liens, fines, even medical bills, like a small-town mob boss. Mitch's name popped up, His mortgage was underwater, Harold holding the note. Wes called as I scrolled, his voice tense. Caleb, dug in a Lone Star. They're not just developers, got ties to a councilman pushing to rezone fast. Harold's their frontman, but someone bigger's pulling strings. Councilman, I leaned back, staring at the fence through my window. Ooh, still digging, Wes said. But watch your back. Mitch is shaky. Could flip either way. Morning brought dust and trouble. I was feeding the horses when Tara's hatchback roared in, her face pale. They hit my sister's place, slapped a $5,000 fine for unapproved paint. She's packing to leave, Caleb. Harold's squeezing us out. I handed her a coffee, steadying my own nerves. He's scared. We're close. Mitch talk yet? She shook her head. He's dodging me. But I got this. She slid a grainy photo across the table. Harold shaking hands with a suit at a construction site. My ranch's fence in the background. Neighbors snapped it yesterday. That's not Lone Star. Looks like City Hall. I squinted, the suit's face vague but familiar. Wes needs this. Might be our councilman. Before I could call, a horn blared. Mitch's pickup skidded to a stop at the gate, his wiry frame jumping out, hands raised. Ward, I ain't here to fight, he yelled, glancing nervously at the road. I waved him in, Tara watching like a hawk. Talk fast, I said, arms crossed. Mitch wiped sweat from his brow, his voice low. Harold's got my house, says I'm done if I don't back him. But I heard him last night, on the phone, talking about a backup plan. They're digging tonight, Caleb, under your fence. Digging. Tara snapud. For what? Mitch hesitated, then spilled. Tunnels. Maintenance access, so they don't need your gate. They'll claim it's theirs, rezone you out. It's not just Harold. Some guy from Austin's bankrolling it. I grabbed my flashlight, mind racing. Where? North corner. Saw surveyors there. He looked at Tara, guilty. I'm sorry. Okay. My wife's sick. Harold's paying her bills. Tara softened, but I cut in. Help us stop this, Mitch. Or you're as trapped as me. He nodded, shaky. I'm in. Dusk fell heavy as we crept to the north fence, me, Tara, and Mitch, my drone buzzing overhead for cover. The air smelled of dirt and diesel. Sure enough, a crew in vests was digging, shovels flashing under work lights. A tunnel mouth gaped, half-finished, leading under my land. I hit record on my phone, catching their faces. One matched Tara's photo, the suit from City Hall. Gotcha, I whispered, but a spotlight swung our way. Ward, a voice barked. Harold, stepping from a truck, his tie gone, face twisted. You're done. This land's ours. Mitch froze, but Tara grabbed his arm. Move. We bolted as boots thumped behind us, my drone diving to block their path. It crashed, sparking, buying us seconds. Back at the ranch, I uploaded the footage to Wes. Sent it to Allison Price, now. Harold's crew didn't follow, but his voice echoed in my head. Tara panted, checking her phone. Residents are sharing it. Mrs. Keller's got a group chat raging. They're turning. Mitch slumped against the barn, muttering, I'm dead if he finds out. You're free if we win, I said, clapping his shoulder. But headlights flashed outside. 3 trucks circling slow. Harold's backup plan wasn't just a tunnel. It was a siege, and my key wouldn't stop what was coming. The night air over my ranch was thick with dust and tension, the silver fence glinting under a half-moon like a noose tightening. Harold Vance's trucks had vanished after their spotlight chase, but the image of that tunnel, shovels carving under my land, burned in my mind. Tara, Mitch, and I huddled in my barn, the drone's wreckage on a hay bale, my phone glowing with the footage we'd sent to Allison Price. Tara's hands shook as she checked her messages. Caleb, it's hitting. Mrs. Keller's group chat's blowing up. Residents are done with Harold. Mitch stared at the floor, his voice hoarse. They'll come for me. Harold knows I talked. I clapped his shoulder. Then we moved faster. My gate key felt heavier now. Not a win, but a wedge in their plan. Wes called, his voice crackling. Footage is with Allison, airing tomorrow. Lone Star's councilman? It's Ed Ripley. Owns half the zoning board. Harold's his puppet. Ripley. I muttered, the suit from Tara's photo clicking into place. He's why they're desperate. Morning broke harsh, sunlight slicing through my blinds. I was saddling Daisy when Tara roared in, eyes wild. Caleb, Allison's segment dropped. Your tunnel's on every news site. Ripley's dodging calls, but Harold's at the clubhouse, rallying the board. I grabbed my hat, the gate key in my pocket. Mitch with you? She nodded. He's scared, but he's got something. Harold's ledger, swiped it last night. Shows payoffs to Ripley. We met Mitch at the fence, his pickup hidden in the brush. He handed me a battered notebook, pages scrawled with numbers, bribes, dates, wardland circled in red. This ends it, he said, voice steady despite his pale face. My wife's safe. Move her to her mom's. I nodded, the ledger heavy in my hands. Let's finish this. Pinebrook Meadows Clubhouse was a circus by noon. Residents crowding the lawn, news vans parked crooked, Allison Price's camera catching it all. Harold stood on the steps, tie askew, barking about community safety, while Mrs. Keller waved a megaphone, rallying neighbors. No more fines, she shouted, gray hair flying. We're not your pawns, Vance. Tara nudged me. Now, Caleb. I strode forward, ledger raised, Mitch at my side. Harold, I called, loud enough to hush the crowd. Your mall's dead. This, I flipped open the notebook, shows you and Ripley bought votes, faked surveys, and dug under my land. Harold's face went purple. Lies. You're a squatter, Ward. Your ranch is a blight. Mitch stepped up, voice cracking but firm. Im no squate. Harold threatened my home, same as he did yours. He pointed at the crowd. Check your fines. They're in here, too. The residents surged, grabbing the ledger as Tara passed out printed emails. A man in a polo, Pinebrook dad, red-faced, yelled, You find my kid's treehouse, $2,000. Mrs. Keller shoved a phone in Harold's face, playing Allison's report. My tunnel, Ripley's name, the works. Harold lunged for me, but a cop stepped in, badge gleaming. Vance, you're done. County's got warrants, fraud, trespass, conspiracy. Handcuffs clicked, and the crowd roared, but I didn't cheer. Tara's sister, pale in the back, clutched her kid, free but shaken. Mitch's eyes were wet. Relief, not triumph. Allison's mic found me. Caleb, what's next for your ranch? I tipped my hat, the fence behind me a jagged scar. It's home. That's enough. The HOA crumbled fast. Ripley resigned. Harold and the board faced jail time. Their mall plan scrapped. My fence came down. County ordered, but I didn't rebuild the gate. Didn't need to. Tara moved her sister back. Their house leaned free. Mitch started a residence council. No fines, just potlucks. Mrs. Keller baked me a pecan pie. Left it with a note. You woke us up, but it wasn't clean. Some Pinebrook folks glared, blaming me for the chaos. Property values dipped, their dream homes tarnished. I got it. I'd rattled their world same as Harold had mine. Nights, I'd sit on my porch, Daisy grazing nearby, and wonder if I'd pushed too hard. The ledger sat in a drawer, a reminder, freedom's messy. Wes dug up one last piece. Ripley's firm had targeted other ranches, same playbook. I mailed the ledger to a state lawyer. No fanfare. Didn't need headlines. My land was mine, horses fed, peaches growing. Tara dropped by one evening, her sister's kid tossing a ball in my yard. You changed things, she said, leaning on the fence post. Didn't mean to, I admitted, cracking a beer. Just wanted my gate back. She laughed soft. Sometimes that's enough. Mitch rebuilt, too. Got his wife's meds covered. No HOA strings. He waved from his porch now, not Harold's pawn. The ranch felt like mine again, but quieter, like it knew what we'd lost to keep it. I hung a new sign by the road. No trespassing, just Ward's place. Let him come, neighbors or not. I'd learned my lesson. You don't fence out trouble. You face it, key or no key. That's it, y'all. Harold's mall didn't stand a chance, but my ranch did. Pinebrook Meadows learned you can't fence in a man's home. Not when he's got folks like Tara and Mitch fighting beside him. Freedom ain't just land. It's the grit to hold it, even when it hurts. My gate's open now, not 'cause I won, but 'cause I chose to share it. Thanks for sticking with this wild ride. It's real, rough, and ours. If it hit you, smash that like button. Keeps the fire burning. Drop a comment. Ever fought for your piece of peace? Or faced a Harold of your own? I read 'em all, swear. Subscribe for more. We're not done kicking dust yet. Catch you next time, boots on.